upon a time, high up in the Cordillera Mountains, there lived a young widow named Bulan. She was an honest and hardworking woman who tilled the fields. Her husband had left her and cared for their children as well as she could. But the weather had been bad that year. Too much rain had flooded the fields and killed the rice crops, so Bulan had nothing to feed her children. One day, while she was in the granary gathering up the last few grains of rice, Bulan heard her family scream. It gave her an idea. "I will take the pig to the market and trade it for rice," she said to her children. "Then, at least, we will have food to eat." So the next day, Bulan tied the pig in a basket, placed on her head, and started to her journey. It was a warm day, and she tired easily because she was so hungry. After a while, she stopped to rest near a shallow lake. As she lifted the basket over her head, the pig squealed out loud. All of a sudden, an old woman appeared. Her white hair seemed to strip the sunlight and hold it. Her face was very pale, but her eyes were bright and clear. "Where are you taking your pig?" the old woman asked. The old woman made her nervous, but Bulan answered truthfully and said, "I am going to Sagada to trade it for something to eat." "Follow me. I will give you something for your pig," said the old woman. She asked, "Why?" Bulan said. She walked to the edge of the lake and put out a foot. As Bulan watched in amazement, the old woman stepped on the water, but her feet stayed dry. Bulan shook her head uncertainly. She knew this was a magic, and she was frightened. The old woman walked back to Bulan and held out her wrinkled hand. Balancing the basket on her head, Bulan took the old woman's hand slowly. She stepped into the lake. She waited to feel the wetness, but her feet never went under. It was like walking on a bed of a soft mousse. Suddenly, a small house on stilts appeared in the middle of the lake. The two women went inside, and Bulan set the basket with the pig down on the floor. The old woman sat on a stool by the window and ordered Bulan to pick the lice from her head. Bulan was more scared than ever, because now she was sure that the old woman was a witch. Yet Bulan did as she was told. When Bulan parted the old woman's hair, she found no lice, only small snakes and some insects. There must have been thousands of them. Bulan bit her lips so she would not scream and bravely crushed the snakes and insects between her thumbnails. After an hour, the old woman took her to stop. She got up and collected the snakes and insects. She threw in a pot of a vegetable stew and began to cook them. After a while, the witch indicated the food was ready to serve them on a plates. Her plates of human skulls. It was disgusting, but Bulan prepared to eat this full meal so that her children would not starve. Once again, she bit her lip and pretended nothing was unusual. When they finished eating, the old woman gave Bulan 2 taro roots and 1 rice stalk. "Go home now," the old woman said. "As soon as you reach your house, put the rice stalk in the granary. Boil the taro." She did not say any more, not even goodbye. Bulan was disappointed that all she got for her pig in her trouble were 2 taro roots and 1 rice stalk. She put the rice stalk in the granary and boiled the taro, just as the old woman had instructed to her. When the taro was cooked, Bulan took a knife to cut it up, and then she noticed something strange. No matter how much she sliced, the taro stayed the same size. Soon she had 100 slices of taro in the table, more than enough for her children to eat. Then she knew that it was the old woman's gift for her. Then she remembered the rice stalk and she ran to her granary. It was overflowing with the rice. Bulan was very happy because she knew that her family would never be hungry anymore. Soon the neighbor began to notice Bulan's good fortune. One of her neighbors was a rich but greedy woman named Galay. This woman had refused to lend Bulan any rice when she had nothing to feed her children. Galay now asked Bulan how she came to have so much food. Bulan truly told Galay all about the strange journey. "I will take my husband pig and look for the old witch," said Galay. "But your granary is full," Bulan said. "But if I had the magic rice stalk, I would never have to work again," said Galay, as she walked away to check on the pig. The next day, the greedy neighbor set out of the lake with a pig in a basket on her head. When she reached the lake, she set her pig down. She pinched its tail to make sure it would squeal. In a twinkling, the old woman appeared. Everything happened exactly as Bulan had told her. The two women walked the surface of the lake until they reached the house in the center. The old woman took a stool, sat by the window, and told Galay to pick her lice. Galay was horrified and refused. Next day, the old woman made supper, but when Galay saw the plates made of human skull, she quickly got up from the table. As Galay ran toward the door, the old woman slapped her on the thigh. Instantly, Galay turned into a big pine tree. A few years later, a woodcutter came and saw the huge pine tree standing in the middle of the shallow lake. He decided to cut it down. As soon as the tree fell, the water began to rise and the lake swallowed up much of the surrounding land, became a deep. You could not see the bottom. Today, it is called the DANUM Lake. So that is the legend of the DANUM Lake and in between Sagada and Besao. Nagkasihin wada san balo ay managan si Bulan. Usang siya ay manalon, nasingpot. Idi namingsan umay isnan agamang, alaunanan nabati, ay pagay, tawad ay pakana isinanak na. Tay gapo isnan tiyempo, nadadaal amin, ay sanikwada, nadadaal ay inmulada, iso nga maid na ikabid isin agamang da. Uminaut alan sa nabatbati, tay pakana isnananak na. Idi wada si siya isnan agamang, denguna at ay mankalkali, manbubugaw da, ng tarakuna ay utikyasan ananak na, gapo si bisin. Idi kuan naagtan siya si idea ay kanana alaag ng sana utik ko ta anak i-market at Sagada kanana. Iso nga dat manrubwat siya, ikabil na san basket na manrubwat. Idi man dadaan si siya, ininina na si siya isnan between Sagada in Besao. Idi wada si siya isdi, wada san binmala ay inina ay nandamag. Intunan umayam kanana. Kanan si Bulan, umayak at Sagada, umayak i-market na ay awit ko, si kanan mi, taymid kanan na nanako, kanana. Dat kanan sanday inina, ala ibatim san sana awit mo, umali ka, ta umay ta isdi, kanana. Iso nga nakisurot, isan baay sanday inina, at kanana umali ka, itukdum isna, kaanam na na ay kutok, nanwarugit di ulok, kanana. Ngamga puta, umagyat si siya, agay ng kalkali, basta inkana san imbagan san daayin ina. ingiginak na danat inkan nintong pala siya isan bilin san deui in ina at inaramid na san bilin ay usto ay maiwod dugis na or maiwod ugyat na. Idi nalpas dit dat kananat san deui in ina alaen na nan kinakaana ay kuto kas kada uwag kas kada amin ay insek in kabil na at isnan pagdingdengan at dinengdeng san deui in ina at danat padakaen at kananda alamangan tako kanan san deui in ina danat ikabil isnan panganana ay tungan di ulo ginmig ginakasin si bulan mid amuna si ibagana nan kayat na ng mangan at si siya tay amuna ay magic na libin mala in ina ay kayat na at ay adiman bisin san ananak na isungan nangan si siya ay mid in bagbagana daot at kanan san dein ina ala sumaaka ala san na ay bagas di pising ya san na ay asang ay lusngi ay pagay ta ikabil mo isnan agamang mo da kapay alaen na ay bagas di pising at utuwam kanana sinmaa si bulan inaramid na ni ingkana idi ini-slice na nando ay bagas di pising mas daaw tay apay nga ini-slice na si the same ay sizes ngam hundreds na pinuot na lamisaan nalagip na at nando ay pagay ay inted san in ina idiin may si siya abos isnan agamang na ilan na ay napno ay nin overflow nando ay agamang na at nas daaw sang kaaruba na ay managan si galay na imo-imot adi man pabulod si makan uray mapispisin ng pamilyan si bulan at dinamag na apay nga binmak ng kanana at insuro na nan ikana in istra-istrak na san diingkan san in ina at kanana ta umayak abos alag sanay utiko ta umayak abos kanana dat kanan si bulan dapay baknang ka napnunan agamang mo kanana ngam kanan si galay tapno adiak kasin mon ubla kanana ano adiak kasin mon ubla matago kami kanana kayat ken bulan so nga at daot nat alan abos nan utik na at man robot si siya at idiin may sidi ingkana amin san imbagan si bulan ngam nanadismayaan san in ina idi pakaanan ng dikuto na pirmi ay madugis pirmi ng kankana na san dein ina pirmi ng dugis na isan in ina iso nga dat kumaan si siya ngam istoy kumaan si siya sinaplit san dein ina si galay gapo isnan dugis na iskan si siya iso nga si galay nin balin at ay siya nang deui dakak aaw nin balin at si siya ay kaaw isnan deui at kadan san deui in ina ini mapalabas ng kaat na ay tawon wada san inmoy ay manragragadi ni ragadi daot san deui kaiw ay si galay ay nin balin si kaiw ni ragadi daot di at siya at nanen overflow ay binmalaan at san deui da danum at siya at san nabalinan san deui danum lake edwani ay siya nan maila isnan in between Sagada in between Besao siya sa san pakaistoryaan ng danum lake